All right, hello everyone. I'm here with Musket Hawk. They're on tour from Baltimore, and they came through and played Raleigh last night. So we're probably just going to talk amongst ourselves a little bit as a sort of informal interview in the TLALHQ headquarters. We're sort of just sitting Indian style here, and what's up?
Hey.
I guess introduce you guys to the camera and.
Yeah, so I'm Gary. I play bass and do vocals and do all of our artwork, and, I'm like the wild card of the bunch.
My name is Jason, and I play drums.
My name's Martin. I play guitar, do vocals.
And so you guys have been on a 10-day tour so far?
Yep, 10 days. It started in Canada, in Quebec, and we now moved around through the Midwest and have come down through Kentucky now to North Carolina, and then on our way back home. Tour will be over in 2 days.
Nice. Are you bummed that the tour is close to an end? Are you excited that you get to sleep in a regular bed? Or
Yeah, I think
all of the above.
Yeah, we love to travel and again see old friends like yourself and meet new people but at some point to transition out of touring is still all right because we can get back to writing and just kind of doing some other things that are part of the band scope. But tour's been going very well, and last night was absolutely that. It was really, really nice to be back at Slim's, and great to be chilling with you at this point, for sure.
awesome. We all got coffee just earlier. I'm like, my heart is palpitating from not having
Up and
caffeine
down the
in a while.
stairs, right up and down the stairs.
So you guys have had a couple highlights on tour. So it was your Detroit show that was really good?
Yeah.
Yep. We played a place called the Trumbleplex, and an old collective, long-running venue. It was a Monday night there, and a lot of kids came out and were dancing and having a really good time. The entire show, and it was definitely a good experience. We had played in Michigan in the past, but never really in Detroit proper. So it was a good introduction to the community out there. It's a strong community based on our experience.
Nice. I guess I didn't ask you what highlight of like bands you guys played with. You said you played in Canada, and I know you'd mentioned Arctic Athos earlier. I guess that wasn't on this tour, but
No, that was on a previous weekend with them about a year ago. And that was awesome. Yep, for sure. But on this tour, we played with a couple. We played with Monotheist, a band out of Florida, in those shows. And again, Canada is really a good place to play in our experience.
Yeah, if you're a U.S. band, I feel like get to Canada, because it's, I don't know, it's kind of, everybody says it's kind of like the Europe of the Americas or something. And I mean, people support, everybody's amazingly friendly. I don't know, it just seems like such a well-supported metal scene up there. And I don't know, it's always a good time when we're in Canada.
did you have any trouble crossing the border with a whole bunch of shirts? I've heard that's an issue.
We didn't. I think something's changed. We have had pretty good experiences over the last several times going to Canada over the last years.
Yeah, we fork over the passports, be honest, and they said, "Welcome to Canada."
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were really not trying to be difficult with us.
So you just said you were in a band, and they're
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
Yep.
welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very good.
exactly.
Pretty much,
Exactly.
I mean, we told them we had merch,
They didn't look through it, or
No.
Nope.
No.
They just wrote, we gave them an estimate of how much money we thought it was worth, and they wrote it down, and
Okay.
it was really no problem.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I think in years past, when they required multiple forms of identification before the whole passport procedure was in place, we have had less than ideal experiences many years ago when you needed your driver's license and like a social security card or like a raised seal birth certificate or something else complicated. But no, it's been really easy for us over the last. I think in this band, the first time we went there, I think was 6 years ago, and so it was it's gotten very easy, and that's why we just keep going back. Because
Nice.
Yeah, we made friends a long time ago. Like in me and Jason's previous band, A Warm Gun. We went on tour with this band, Cobra Noir, and did like a 30-day U.S. and Canada thing, and just like became like homies, family, with like members of that band. So they're kind of like, we go and stay with like our friend and his family, and it's just like vacation, hanging out. It's always a good time.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to places you want to go, then
Yeah.
you can't lose that you're already wanting to be there.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, exactly.
I know people that have started bands just to go to places in that town to eat. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. And again, to Gary's point, we've been fortunate enough to just really meet some amazing folk, amazing people, and their family and friends for sure. And a lot of touring for us, I think that's the allure, see old friends, spend time, and meet new people and continue to do band stuff at the same time. But yeah, that's where
It's
we're
always
at.
nice too to like be able to wake up and make breakfast and hang out with your friends and do some laundry and take a shower.
Yeah.
It's always nice.
So you guys have a new LP and a new split.
Correct.
Tell me about both of those.
So the LP actually came about through various tours. We kind of got into a mode where anytime we were on tour, we would kind of take a day and stop by a studio and churn out a couple of tracks. So this LP, a couple of songs recorded in Baltimore, few songs recorded at the Jam Room in, where's that, South Carolina?
Yep.
And then a couple of songs at Electrical Audio in Chicago. So sort of pulled them all together. It was, 2 years in the making that we kind of put this album together?
Yeah.
And on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, the Split 7 with Coffin Dust out of Philly, that was just, we were in the studio. We said, we have a little time, let's throw one more song on there and talk to Ryan at Unholy Anarchy Records. And he's been a supporter since day one. He's like family. So he's got together with Coffin Dust. That came together really, really quickly. Gary did the artwork in, a matter of weeks. And here we are. We're out supporting him.
Right.
Cool. Is the LP on the same label?
Yep.
It is.
Very
yep.
cool.
Yep. It is.
And they're available to buy in March online? Or?
correct.
Okay.
29th is the date that we were told is the release.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got pre-orders up now. He's doing some bundles and all that kind of cool stuff behind the scenes that
Right.
we don't know a whole
And
lot about.
we have advanced copies with us here, obviously, for purposes of traveling. But yeah, so like Martin was saying, I mean, it was the LP and the 12 is something that took a long time to mature and get going, and the 7 was just the opposite. And Kevin Bernstein in Developing Nations actually was heavily involved in both releases, from a recording standpoint and from a mixing standpoint. So he really kind of put all the finishing touches on everything that we did, at least here recently with these 2 releases. So it was great to have him involved. I mean, Gary and I have known him for many, many, many years, going back to playing the Flowers in the Attic, which is, I don't know, by this time 20 years easy.
Were you guys in that band?
No,
Okay.
Kevin was.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
Yep,
I just
yep.
Kevin
wasn't
and
sure if there was a closer connection.
No, I just basically sharing space in the community, in the scene at that time. We were playing in another band, and it was just nice. It was kind of, Baltimore obviously was strong at the time, but there was some new bands, again 2 decades back, that were just kind of coming into their own and being very active, and that's where we first met Kevin, and it's we've always had a really good relationship, and now he's integral in what
he's
we're
kind
doing.
of kind of the man on the East Coast for a lot of people to go
Right.
to.
Living in Baltimore is so convenient for us because he's already there.
Yeah.
So we don't have to, unlike some of our experiences in traveling with tour and doing the one-day recordings, it's just very convenient
Yeah.
to go to him in Baltimore because that's our hometown. So
Very cool. Yeah, I like his recordings.
yeah.
The work he did on Crusher was amazing. Obviously, I assume he records Triac stuff, and that stuff sounds
Yes.
He
perfect.
did that,
It's great.
He did that Genocide Pack too that just came out.
Yep.
That sounds brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really has an excellent ear, and he's so thorough, and I mean, again, like we talked, he's building guitars now, and so he's expanding, what he's doing and how he's being involved in the community. And I mean, he's been working on that studio for a long time, from what we understand, and it just continues to get better and better. The sound, how things resonate in the studio. He's really taken a good approach in making sure that it's exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah.
From the construction standpoint. I mean, from what he's done a lot of the work himself.
Yeah.
So.
And he's building guitars now too. So
Yeah.
if you're a guitar player, look that dude up.
Yeah.
And they're all aluminum necks.
Yeah, all aluminum necks, from what I believe. He
Yes.
bought a lathe, got the CAD programming. I mean,
Yep.
that dude.
What can he do?
Exactly. That's a better question.
Yeah.
He sings in Reeking Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays in Triac, and
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yep.
And
Records sick bands.
they've been a band for
our first.
Our
years,
first
at
band,
least?
it was the first release we did with them, not in Musket Hawk, in a previous band, was I think it was 2002. So yeah, Triac is well tenured.
what band was that?
A band called the Karma Payment Plan.
Okay, I've heard of.
Yeah,
familiar.
it was it was a great project to be involved in initially, and then, but we've always been really close friends with all the, Jake in particular, in Triac, and it was, yeah, they have been really a staple in the community, overall, not even just in Baltimore, just globally. But yeah, I think that split was in 2002, I believe.
First
Okay.
record we ever put out.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if any of you guys were in that band Moonshine.
No,
No.
that's my favorite Baltimore band.
Yeah,
They were good.
I
yes,
wish they would
Yeah.
come back together. They were my
Yes.
favorite Baltimore band.
yeah. We play with them and we know them as friends for sure. But yeah, they're great. Yeah, absolutely. The little 3-inch mini CD was really really good.
Very cool. And what's new in Baltimore? I know you mentioned Barclay House is gone, which is
Yeah,
sort
it's kind of sad.
Yeah,
of a bummer. It was sort of it was a dive, but some of those shows I saw there was crazy. I saw Despise You down in there.
I think like Agent Orange played there. Like, yeah, like just crazy. Like you're like, why is that crazy? But
yeah. So Barclay was a long-running DIY space in downtown Baltimore, and I believe it was 12 years. I think is how long it lasted. And so for a house space, essentially in Baltimore, that's a huge accomplishment. A lot of house spaces come and go, at least in Baltimore and maybe in other areas also, but yeah, Barclay was a long running, it was basically everyone's home in the community. You'd go there to watch shows, and when you weren't playing, of course, and you'd go there to play shows and all the same, and it was just a real good staple. Musket Hawk had a chance to play, I think their 8-year anniversary show.
yeah. And then a Warm Gun did the 10
Yeah, and then
year.
Warm Gun did the 10-year. So it is unfortunate that it moved on, but I mean, it's kind of just what happens in my experience in the community.
There's a lot of younger kids seem to like. I mean, I've been doing it for like 20 years, and you see it ebb and flow, and it's like it seems like it's on its upswing with younger bands coming in. There's this band called Bust Down that I really love. Just like it's like changes, and I mean like Glue Traps, like there just lots of new good bands are starting to come out of Baltimore again. I guess that's like how it is with like any city. You're gonna have like people move on, and like the staple people that book shows kind of move, and then like you might have like a lull, but then you get like new younger kids coming in, really getting excited about stuff and booking shows. And there's a few people in Baltimore doing that, and it's like really starting. I just see like a scene kind of gelling again, which is really exciting
Yeah,
for someone who loves music.
It sounds a lot like Raleigh. Raleigh, I assumed it was mainly a southern thing, but I guess it's everywhere.
Yeah.
That you have every single show is like packed and amazing, and you have 5 new bands that you're super excited about, and then there's no shows, and there are only shows at a couple bars and some of that. So it's interesting to see that it's a similar scene
Yeah.
in Baltimore. I would think that Baltimore would have a little more of a constant thing, but I guess everywhere has some down swings. Do you feel like you interact with the DC scene very much, or is that a little
yeah, I
sort of
feel like-
separated?
No, I think there's like some crossover. I mean like like these guys have families. I'm kind of like the single guy, so I get to go out and check out the DC scene, and I feel like DC's got some real good bands coming out of it.
We're
I feel like,
playing there in 2 days as well.
yeah, we're playing
So-
Atlas Brew, and that spot is it, you know, I mean, having shows at a brewery, you know, where it's like, I mean, Bong Ripper played there, and you're like, wow, you know, like this is happening, and I mean, I think it's like Ripping Headaches. Hassan is like really, he's like a staple down there, like
Yeah.
booking all the time, and
He books in Baltimore too.
Yeah,
right?
he does.
yeah,
Yep.
he
very
moved down to
active.
DC, and he kind of like, you know, that's where his focus is, because I mean, you don't want to drive up to Baltimore, but
Right.
I mean, that dude's he's like a East Coast staple, you know, like that dude puts in work and does a good job, and yeah, I feel like DC scene is like, I wish I could get down there more often, but like, yeah, I get to catch the bands as they're coming through Baltimore every now and then, and it's all good stuff. I really dig that band No Mas a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, you got Coke Bus down there, you know, there's a lot of good bands down
Yeah,
there.
and again, those are old friends, and so for many years and playing in multiple projects, not just this one, you know, it's been nice to interact, and I mean, really, it's a single highway that leads between both cities, and so it's really not that much of a commitment as far as travel. I mean, unlike some, I mean, again, in my experience, I mean, we're pretty fortunate being on the East Coast, where the city proximities are pretty convenient, especially when you're traveling, touring, doing weekends, whatever you do. So just being physically closer is a good thing for purposes of efficiency, and but yeah, DC is like, we're excited to be there on Sunday, and there's definitely, you know, opportunities, you know, because of how close they are together to share a good bit, at least in our experience.
Very cool. Who are you playing with in Richmond and the DC show?
Oh, man.
We're playing.
You just show up and play? Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
It's like, when do we gotta be
We're
there?
playing with a band called Buzzard in Richmond. I think they're out of PA.
Okay.
I think Sludge Thrash, something like that. And there's some other. I know there's local bands on the show. In DC, we're playing with Sloth Herder, and we're playing with Secular Media, which is Tommy Two Warden's other band.
Okay.
That's another guy that
Yeah,
puts
Tommy
in
works
work.
really hard.
Yeah.
He's really been helpful to us and to many other bands, of course, and the community there in DC. So yeah, I mean, we play Richmond pretty consistently, and we really enjoy, you know, that community. I mean, we've fortunately been playing there again, you know, over the years at, you know, Nancy Reagan and Alley Cats and all the older venues that are now no longer, and you know, we're excited to be going back, you know, with this band and continuing to keep Richmond, you know, on the list. I mean, because again, like I was just saying, I mean, to do a weekend between Richmond, DC, and Baltimore is really, really convenient.
Yeah.
So
Same with going up to like Philly, and even like, I mean, if you got the money for tolls going up to like New York, you know, it's kind of nice. Like, there's a good scene up there too, but it's kind of pricey to get up there.
Have you all gone out west at all, or do you normally just go up and down East Coast?
yeah, we haven't gone out west. I mean, we actually got some invitations to do that, and we're trying to figure out how to manage it honestly with you know, just commitments and other things.
Right.
So yeah, we pretty much have stayed east of the Mississippi, and you know, from Florida to Canada. You know, this is something that, I mean, again, Musket Hawk has been around for 8 years, and so we've tried to make sure that we can just, you know, do what we can do and make sure that it's value added and it works within, you know, again, like I said, like visiting friends and seeing family and playing some music. But yeah, we have gotten an invitation to go out west, and we're trying to figure that out currently. So we'll keep you updated. But yeah, primarily, yeah, we've done east of the Mississippi.
Cool. What do you see in the future? I mean, you just did an LP and a split, so like, what that's happening now? What are you gonna work on a next LP? Are you gonna tour more? Are you gonna catch back up on live now that you've played what it'd be like 12-day tour?
Yeah, so we actually have some more material that we're already working on. So that's kind of our way of going. We'll really focus in, record something, get it out, get it done, and then we'll take a few months off from playing shows and, you know, back in the Beat Lab, and we're in there recording and you know, getting new material, demoing new material. So that's kind of the next step, is to hash out these new songs that we've already started working on. As far as supporting the releases, we're looking at doing kind of weekend jaunts, so either up north or down south. Trying to hit Morgantown again, that's always fun to play. Trying to hit Pittsburgh again, it's always fun to be there. So
I want to go back to Detroit.
exactly,
Yeah, exactly.
So kind of a mixture of some long weekends over the next 6 or 8 months, and then continuing to hash out the new material.
And we have we were fortunate enough to have material ready, as Martin was saying, because we're just kind of in that cyclic site, whatever. That's just kind of how we operate. So we do have other material done and ready, and we're going to be pursuing. The next thing we'll do is a split 7-inch, and then from that point, again, after what we have presently, we'll do another split with material we already have recorded and ready. And other than that, yeah, we'll just continue to write, like Martin was saying, and the next plan would be to pretty much do another 12 and continue along that same path. And again, fortunately we can still write together. And if it ever ends and we can't write anymore, then we'll figure out something else. But while we're just I don't know. While we can do that, we'll do it.
And we don't hate each other.
No, we don't hate each other. That's right. we don't hate each other.
The other thing about touring is we see so many different bands, and it's always kind of a little jolt of creativity. So you get inspired by the bands that you play with. So last tour we did was with a fastcore band out of Australia called the Sparrow, and then spending a week and a half on the road with those boys.
All of our songs got way faster.
Yeah, we just kept playing faster and faster.
Yeah, we're like,
would Tommy like this riff? I don't know. Let's try it out.
Yeah.
So that when you're steeped in music for a condensed time period of a week and a half, seeing all different bands, meeting all different people, that creativity really starts to come out in your songwriting.
Very cool. Any last words? Anything you want to tell? I mean, you guys have a brand new LP, a new split with
Coffin Dust.
Dust.
Yep.
On
Unholy Anarchy Records.
And you can pre-order them.
Yep. It's labels out of Baltimore, Maryland, just like we are.
Are your shirts available online?
No, not yet.
Okay.
We can get that.
That's going to happen when we get back home. We'll definitely going to take the apparel and the merchandise to make sure it's available. Through the online purchasing process. But yeah, that's where we are, and just want to thank you, Will.
Thanks a lot
for spending time with us, and it's always great.
Cool. Everyone, check out Musket Hawk, and thanks for coming through Raleigh. Thanks for sitting down with me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man.